Who was Daniel in the Bible? Who was Daniel in the Bible? Daniel, a biblical figure, is a noble Jewish youth from Jerusalem who was taken into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar II of Babylon. Throughout his life, he demonstrated unwavering faith, integrity, and devotion to God. His story is recorded in the biblical book of Daniel, where he is known for his wisdom and faithful service to kings. Key takeaways: Daniel was a noble Jewish youth taken into captivity by Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon. He demonstrated wisdom, integrity, and faithfulness to God throughout his life. Daniel's story is recorded in the biblical book of Daniel. His prophecies and teachings continue to impact biblical history. Daniel's life serves as an inspiration for believers to trust in God and remain faithful. Who was in the Bible? Who was Daniel in the Bible? Here's a set of bullet points providing information about Daniel from the Bible. Jewish exile. Daniel was a Jew who was taken into captivity by the Babylonians when King Nebuchadnezzar besieged Jerusalem. Served in Babylonian court. Despite being in exile, Daniel served with distinction in the Babylonian court, becoming a high-ranking advisor. Gift of interpretation. Daniel was gifted with the ability to interpret dreams and visions, which brought him favor in the eyes of the Babylonian and Persian kings. Faithful to God. Throughout his time in Babylon, Daniel remained faithful to God, adhering to Jewish dietary laws and maintaining a strong prayer life. Survived the lion's den. Daniel is perhaps best known for being thrown into a den of lions as a result of his refusal to stop praying to God, and miraculously surviving. Prophetic visions. Daniel experienced a series of apocalyptic visions detailing future events, some of which are considered to be prophecies about the end times. Wisdom and integrity. Daniel was noted for his wisdom, integrity, and unwavering faith, which set him apart in a foreign land and pagan court. Influenced future prophets. Daniel's prophecies and righteous example had a lasting impact, influencing later Jewish and Christian thought. Book of Daniel. The book of Daniel in the Old Testament chronicles his life, prophecies, and the trials he faced, serving as a source of inspiration and hope. Legacy of faithfulness. Daniel's legacy is one of faithfulness to God despite challenging circumstances, demonstrating the power of steadfast faith and integrity. Daniel's story in the Bible serves as a powerful testament to the importance of remaining faithful to God, even in the face of adversity, and trusting in his divine plan and protection. Early life and training. Daniel's journey in the Old Testament begins with his early life and training in Babylon. After being taken captive from Jerusalem, Daniel, along with other noble young men, was selected to be trained in the ways of the Babylonians. This included learning the language, culture, and customs of the Babylonian Empire. During his training, Daniel and his friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, faced challenges to their faith. One of these challenges came when they were presented with the king's food and wine. However, Daniel and his friends chose to remain faithful to their beliefs and requested a diet of vegetables and water instead. This decision demonstrated their commitment to honoring God and upholding their Jewish traditions. Furthermore, God gifted Daniel with the ability to interpret dreams and visions. This unique skill became evident when Nebuchadnezzar, the Babylonian king, had a dream that troubled him. Despite his advisor's inability to interpret the dream, Daniel, through his close relationship with God, was able to reveal its meaning. This marked the beginning of Daniel's prominence in the Babylonian court and set the stage for his future encounters with kings and prophetic insights. Below is a table timeline showing major events and kingdoms during the life of Daniel. Year event/kingdom description: 605 BCE Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar II. Daniel is taken into Babylonian captivity during the first siege of Jerusalem. 603 BCE Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar II. Daniel interprets Nebuchadnezzar's dream of a statue, revealing the succession of kingdoms to come. 595 to 570 BCE Babylonian Empire. Nebuchadnezzar II. Daniel serves in the Babylonian court, gaining favor and position. 562 BCE Babylonian Empire. Amel-Marduk, Nebuchadnezzar's son, Amel-Marduk, becomes king. Daniel's status during his reign is not explicitly mentioned. 560 BCE Babylonian Empire. Neriglissar takes the throne after Amel-Marduk. 556 BCE Babylonian Empire. Labashi-Marduk briefly reigns before being assassinated. 556 to 539 BCE Babylonian Empire. Nabonidus becomes king. Belshazzar, his son, serves as co-regent during his absences from Babylon. 539 BCE End of Babylonian Empire. Cyrus the Great of Persia conquers Babylon, ending the Babylonian Empire. Daniel interprets the writing on the wall during Belshazzar's feast. 538 to 530 BCE Persian Empire. Cyrus the Great. Daniel serves in the Persian court. He receives the vision of the 70 weeks. 530 to 522 BCE Persian Empire. Cambyses II, son of Cyrus, rules Persia. The status of Daniel during this time is not explicitly mentioned. 522 to 486 BCE Persian Empire. Darius the Mede takes over the kingdom. Daniel is thrown into the lion's den and miraculously survives. 486 to 465 BCE Persian Empire. Xerxes I, Ahasuerus. Xerxes I becomes king. The status of Daniel during this time is not explicitly mentioned. 465 to 424 BCE Persian Empire. Artaxerxes I takes the throne. The book of Daniel likely concludes during or shortly after this time. This timeline highlights the major events and kingdoms during Daniel's life, showcasing his role in the Babylonian and Persian courts and the significant events he witnessed and influenced through his gift of prophecy and interpretation. Overall, the early life and training of Daniel laid the foundation for his remarkable journey as a biblical figure. His unwavering faith and adherence to his beliefs, even in a foreign land, set him apart and positioned him for the influential role he would play in the years to come. The early life and training of Daniel in the Old Testament. Daniel's story begins with his early life and training in Babylon. As a noble Jewish youth from Jerusalem, Daniel was taken captive by King Nebuchadnezzar and brought to Babylon. Alongside other young men of noble descent, Daniel was chosen to be trained in the Babylonian ways, including their language, culture, and customs. This period of training presented challenges to Daniel's faith and adherence to his Jewish heritage. One such challenge came when he and his friends were offered the king's food and wine. Believing that this would violate their dietary laws, Daniel and his friends made the bold decision to request a vegetarian diet instead. Their faithfulness to God and their commitment to their beliefs set them apart even in a foreign land. In addition to his cultural adaptation, Daniel possessed a unique gift from God, the ability to interpret dreams and visions. This gift proved to be of great importance when Nebuchadnezzar had a troubling dream that none of his advisors could decipher. Through his close relationship with God, Daniel was able to provide not only the interpretation of the dream but also a deep understanding of God's sovereignty and his plans for the future. The early life and training of Daniel set the stage for the extraordinary journey that awaited him. His unwavering faith, adherence to his beliefs, and God-given abilities would play a vital role in his interactions with kings and in the prophetic insights he would receive. Daniel and King Nebuchadnezzar. Daniel's interactions with King Nebuchadnezzar played a significant role in his life and established his reputation as a prophet and wise counselor. One of the key events was when the king had a dream that troubled him, and his wise men were unable to interpret it. Daniel, known for his connection with God, stepped forward and revealed the meaning of the dream to the king. This not only impressed Nebuchadnezzar but also established Daniel as someone with special insight and wisdom. In the book of Daniel, this encounter is described in chapter 2. Nebuchadnezzar's dream was a prophetic vision of future empires, representing the rise and fall of various kingdoms. Daniel interpreted the dream, revealing that Nebuchadnezzar's kingdom was the head of gold and would be followed by inferior kingdoms. This accurate interpretation not only showcased Daniel's wisdom but also demonstrated the power of God working through him. You are the head of gold. After you, another kingdom will arise, inferior to yours. Next, a third kingdom, one of bronze, will rule over the whole earth. Daniel 2:38-39. As a result of Daniel's interpretation, Nebuchadnezzar recognized Daniel's unique abilities and promoted him to a position of authority over all the wise men of Babylon. This event marked the beginning of a close relationship between Daniel and the king, with Daniel serving as a trusted advisor and counselor in Nebuchadnezzar's court. Key event description: dream troubles Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar has a dream that troubles him, and his wise men cannot interpret it. Daniel reveals the dream's meaning. Daniel steps forward and accurately interprets Nebuchadnezzar's dream, showcasing his wisdom and connection with God. Daniel is promoted to a position of authority. Nebuchadnezzar recognizes Daniel's abilities and promotes him to a position of authority over all the wise men of Babylon. Father, grandfather, minister, missionary, deacon, elder, author, welcome to our family. View all posts.